Y así es, chavitos, brothers y brothercitas, esto está cañón, es el fraude en historia de medical en Estados Unidos, en California, más grande de la historia, brothers. 324 doctores y enfermeras arrestados por un fraude de 14.6 billones de dólares con B. Billones de dólares en reclamos falsos de seguros médicos, brothers. Está muy cañón, lo acaba de descubrir el doctor Oz, ¿se acuerdan de la televisión? Y toda su comitiva, chequen esto.
Morning, everyone. My name is Matthew Gagliotti, and I'm the head of the Justice Department's Criminal Division. Thank you all for joining us today as we announce the largest coordinated healthcare fraud takedown in the history of the Department of Justice. Today marks a decisive moment in our fight to protect American taxpayers from fraudsters and to defend the integrity of America's healthcare system. We are announcing today charges against 324 defendants for their alleged participation in healthcare fraud schemes involving approximately $14.6 billion in false claims submitted to Medicare, Medicaid, and other healthcare programs.
Y todo esto es aquí en el estado de la princesa Newsom, brothers, que dice que todo está perfecto y hermoso y que quiere ser presidente de Estados Unidos. O sea, háganme el favor, ¿cómo va a terminar el país con este güey si entra de presidente?
In a takedown this large, I can't possibly describe all of the work that went into dismantling each scheme, but there are 4 key points that bear emphasizing. First, let me be clear about what these healthcare fraud schemes mean for every hardworking American family. These criminals didn't just steal someone else's money. They stole from you. Every fraudulent claim, every fake billing, every kickback scheme represents money taken directly from the pockets of American taxpayers who fund these essential programs through their hard work and sacrifice. And when criminals defraud these programs, they're not just committing theft. They're driving up our national deficit and threatening the long-term viability of healthcare for seniors, disabled Americans, and our most vulnerable citizens. This enforcement action involves the seizure of cash, as well as luxury vehicles and properties, returning real money to American taxpayers and to our government healthcare programs. Second, we are seeing a disturbing trend of transnational criminal organizations engaging in increasingly sophisticated and complex criminal schemes that defraud the American healthcare system.
O sea, ni siquiera es gente de aquí, son gente de otros países que vienen y hacen sus tranzas, igual que los somalíes allá en Minnesota, brothers, con las guarderías, con los medios de transporte. Aquí en California es gente de otros lados que viene y hace sus jaladas, y gente de aquí también, pero está diciendo que son de varios países de afuera también.
As part of this takedown, we've identified and charged defendants operating from Russia, Eastern Europe, Pakistan, and other foreign countries. These individuals have infiltrated our healthcare system to steal American taxpayer dollars. As just one example, we dismantled a scheme involving a sophisticated operation run from Russia and Eastern Europe that strategically bought dozens of medical supply companies in the United States and submitted more than $10 billion in fraudulent healthcare claims to Medicare.
Está cañón que los rusos hayan comprado a un chorro de compañías de medicina y todo ese tipo de cosas para hacer reclamos de insurance, brothers, de seguros, y que se roben más de 10 billones de dólares. O sea, son genios también para el fraude, porque a quién se le ocurre. Pero qué bueno que los agarraron y que no existan más.
To make matters worse, these perpetrators used the stolen identities of more than 1 million Americans.
No manches, le robaron la identidad a más de 1 millón de americanos. No manches, a lo mejor hasta tú que ni cuenta te has dado si eres ciudadano, a lo mejor hasta nos están usando nuestra identidad para reclamar dinero que nunca nosotros hemos visto y nunca hemos pedido.
Spanning all 50 states to perpetrate this scheme and submit these false claims.
Wow.
But I'm pleased to report that federal agents intercepted and arrested key members of that organization at U.S. airports and the U.S.-Mexico border, cutting off their intended escape routes.
Oh, wow, los agarraron justamente cuando estaban tratando de huir con todo su dinero. No se pudo.
The days of transnational criminal organizations using the American healthcare programs as their personal piggy bank are over.
Muy bien.
Third, this takedown resulted in criminal charges against 74 defendants, including medical professionals who fueled America's deadly opioid crisis for personal profit. These are not isolated instances of poor judgment. These are calculated schemes designed to exploit Americans struggling with addiction while enriching the very people who were duty-bound to help them heal. We charged pill mill operators who prescribed unnecessary opioids. We dismantled networks of corrupt pharmacies that existed solely to distribute drugs to addicts and dealers, feeding the addiction crisis that has devastated so many American communities.
Brother, está muy cañón esto, eh.
This is not healthcare. It is a staggering breach of trust. And under my leadership, the criminal division will prosecute these criminals as aggressively as we would any drug dealer, because that's exactly what they are. Fourth, many of the defendants charged as part of this takedown specifically targeted our most vulnerable citizens, elderly Americans in nursing homes.
Ahí está. Estos fraudulentos estuvieron aprovechándose de ancianos en asilos de ancianos.
Individuals with disabilities.
Gente discapacitada, brothers.
Those battling serious illnesses, and more. For example, our prosecutors charged 7 defendants, including 5 medical professionals, in connection with approximately $1 billion in fraudulent claims to Medicare and other healthcare benefit programs for performing medically unnecessary skin grafts on dying patients as they were seeking to spend their final days with dignity and peace. That conduct is exactly as callous and disturbing as it sounds.
¿Oyeron eso, brothers? O sea, ni lo quiero repetir porque es terrible lo que hicieron. O sea, literalmente no voy a repetirlo, pero se aprovecharon de los más vulnerables, de los más indefensos, de los que realmente lo necesitaban, caray. Esos tipos merecen irse al infierno.
Patients and their families trusted these providers with their lives. Instead of receiving care, they became victims of elaborate.
Terrible, 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 pero los agarraron, brothers. Más de 300 doctores, enfermeras, envueltos en este relajo. Países, compañías transnacionales comprando compañías americanas para pedir dinero por ellos. O sea, esto está cañón. ¿Quién permitió que esto empezara? No sé. ¿Quién permitió que pasara? No lo sé. Lo único que sabemos es que ya los agarraron y qué bueno, porque la verdad está de la patada. Ojalá no vuelva a pasar este tipo de cosas porque ya los agarran, pero ¿cómo lo impides? Es algo difícil de entender, la verdad, pero muy bien. Felicidades por este tipo, brothers, que de verdad se está poniendo las pilas. El Dr. Oz, también RFK Jr. en el Departamento de Salud. Y yo quiero saber qué piensan ustedes de todo esto, brothers. Ojalá no nos hayan robado la identidad. Ojalá, pues, está duro. No te hayan afectado a ti. Suscríbete, comparte, comenta, te leo. No se les olvide que los amo.